right, Ness, so we're going to go ahead and start off with you with our first question. So when you're not producing or performing, what kind of things are you into? What are you listening to? What are you watching? What's a little bit more about what you like to do?
So the first thing I'm gonna say off the bat is, I mean, if I'm not doing music, like like you said, if I'm not producing, if I'm not writing or making music, I'm either like watching 80s movies and doing skincare, or I'm doing cosplay. I do Star Wars cosplay. And then I've recently gotten back into tabletop role-playing games, so I've been doing that.
That's awesome. Do you have a favorite 80s movie that you go to?
My favorite 80s movie of like all time is The Goonies, but I don't want to overwatch it, so I always like go on Tubi and like try and find new ones.
So, Erwin, what's one guitar habit or instinct that you had to unlearn when you started playing in an electronic synth-driven project?
I think one of the biggest ones was definitely the saying that a lot of people have is less is best. Sometimes you have to know when to cut out, even though you've had experiences with other genres of music like metal. I come from a metal background, progressive as well. So
Hell yeah.
where you do the most in when it comes to the guitar playing. But in this one, it's you have to lay back, keep it down to the roots of that sound as to where it came from. And that's the goal. That's the goal for me.
If someone in the audience only watched you during your set, what do you hope that they would notice about how you play?
Well, I guess when it comes to playing, rhythm guitar, I kind of like to just move around a lot more as opposed to kind of just be kind of stiff. I guess that comes from my punk rock background, where just bounce around, just jump around. I just hope that they see that I'm having fun, and I hope that energy transfers to them.
What's your favorite moment in the set to come in, and the one you look forward to every time that you play these songs live?
Definitely after when Ness goes like, oh yeah! Right after there, I fucking just rip into it, and it's very like dopamine releasing.
Hell yeah. How do you find a spot to kind of fill in when it comes to writing the music?
It's definitely taking me a little bit of time working through multiple different genres like math rock or ska or hip hop, R&B. As a lead player, you learn to follow vocals because they usually establish the main melody. As a lead player, you also learn how to establish your own melodies to complement that melody. So it's a learning process, and you definitely have to keep like doing it over and over, trial and error, listening to yourself, listening to people that you admire to really learn how to listen. So that way you don't just like throw a bunch of like mess all over somebody's like vocal line or the backing track. Because there are multiple parts in a song that are very, very important, not just the lead tone.
What do you feel is the biggest difference between playing for an electronic artist and playing more in a traditional band setup?
Well, there's a lot of things I think as a drummer you can incorporate as far as like the electronic stuff, because sometimes it could be either very simple or, you have like stuff that's like hip hop and rap. Usually they have a lot of trap beats, right? There's a lot of notes, 30-second notes, right? Especially like on the hi-hat. But for something like this, the approach was a little bit more simple. So since I come from, a jazz background and I studied a lot of music, a lot of it was me trying to fill in the empty spaces. But, of course, making sure that I'm not doing too much, where I want to make sure that, like certain hits I feel like I can incorporate. How can I throw in a little bit of myself also in there, too? Because the thing is that, like, yes, you want to serve the music, but you also have to remember you are the music. So, that's something I always feel that is, again, different because, in a traditional band setting, it's more, I actually get to create more from scratch as opposed to joining Ness. She already had a layout of things, and so I catered to that, but then started to layer hits and, of course, a bit of myself in there. So.
Hell yeah. And when you play live, do you find yourself sticking true to the song, or do you find yourself a little bit more loose and kind of improvising as you go?
So actually, when I was in high school, I remember my band director would always tell me, like, yeah, he's a game time player. And he always meant, like, because every time I was playing live, I was always loose. And I feel like every time, even like when I'm playing rehearsals and stuff like that and live, I always find myself always loose, and to the extent where sometimes I'm like, oh, I could add this. So I think I'm very loose. I honestly think I'm very loose because that's when the way I always approach it is that like everything that I've worked for at that point, it's all or nothing at that point,